all we ask of our volunteers is that they have a willing heart and willing hands, and we'll take them through the rest. And that's right, certainly not, because that's going to happen on a habitat build.
Each day at Wesley Meadows is a new opportunity to serve older adults and reimagine retirement living. It is the heart of their mission that inspires their team to provide the kind of fun atmosphere and care the residents would want for themselves. Experience the warm spirit and faith-based difference of Wesley Meadows. Call 662-429-2070 and schedule your visit today. Hello and welcome to The Real Hernando, presented to you by Wesley Meadows, Retirement Community, and SRP Studios, a digital content production agency. This podcast spotlights Hernando's organizations and community leaders by sharing their stories and what led them to serve the community. Please follow us at therealhernando.com for all channels and social media platforms. I am your host, Derek, and today we are spotlighting the Hernando DeSoto affiliate of Habitat for Humanity. Seeking to put God's love into action, Habitat for Humanity brings people together to build homes, communities, and hope. Habitat has built or repaired over 800,000 houses and served more than 4 million people worldwide. For more information, please visit DeSotoHabitat.org. Joining me today is the president of DeSoto Habitat, Mr. Lee Ashcraft. How are you, Lee?
Good morning. Doing well. Glad to be here with you.
Glad to have you. I'm glad we made this work. We spoke a couple weeks ago, and we made this happen quickly. So glad to have you here. We're here to learn all about, our local Habitat for Humanity. We want to talk about how it works here, but then of course we're talking about overall, right? Like the overall,
sure.
Like I just read, 800,000 homes. That's pretty remarkable, right?
It is, sure.
So let's start with, let's extrapolate from what I just did in the intro and give us a quick description of what, I want to get it right, the terminology. Where's my thing? What the DeSoto Habitat affiliate means and how it works in this area.
Our affiliate was started in 1992. And so during these 30 some odd years, we built 30 some odd houses. We just finished number 31, and we are looking for land right now.
Okay.
So I'll plug that in early on. That is an ongoing need, especially here in the county where land has gotten expensive as well as scarce.
Yeah.
And so the affiliate has a number of homes that have already been paid off. The first one was built in 1994, and it was paid off in 2014, 20 years later. And so we're very pleased to have had several others paid off in the meantime.
I'm trying to do the math. When was the first one was built in 94?
Mm-hmm.
And you built 30, how many? 30 what?
31. We just finished number 31.
So it's been almost 30 years,
right?
Correct?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. That's a house a year.
So about one per year. Occasionally we've done 2 per year.
That's outstanding.
But we try to do at least 1.
Yeah. I would say it's hard to do too many, right, at once, all that overlap. And
it is, especially with an all-volunteer staff.
Yeah.
We don't have any paid employees, never have had, so our entire board, we're all volunteers.
Mm-hmm.
And our building committee, family selection committee, all the different committees are staffed by people just giving of their time.
And we're certainly going to talk about how we can help you get volunteers, donations.
Always glad to have.
Certainly going to have all that. But then right out of the gate, you're talking about needing land.
Mm-hmm.
So talk a little bit more about that.
We have had some properties that have been donated to Habitat. Some have been purchased by Habitat. And occasionally we'll have families that will have their own land as long as it is clear, title is clear, and they turn it over to Habitat. We'll build on it, and then, of course, we deed it back to them.
Mm-hmm.
But we built the last house we just finished one in August of this year. It was in Horn Lake. The two previous to that were in Hernando. And they were on Gin Street here just above the county administration building.
Okay.
The land that we need, usually 60 by 120 or so for the lot size, or if we build out in the county, we need at least an acre and a half in order to have sewage taken care of.
Okay. So what's the story behind the people that you're building this for? Like who are these people, and what's the typical reason why they need this assistance?
They are usually low-income families. Of course, we, by Habitat guidelines, we work with those who are in the 25th percentile or less of the area median income. In this area, it's a shade over $60,000 for the area median income. And so that puts us down around $15,000 if you take the 25th percentile of that number.
Oh, I see. So if you're in the earnings of $15,000 a year,
approximately,
right. Yeah, that's going to be very difficult.
It is,
and to get housing, even an apartment.
Yes. Yes, these are people who cannot qualify for traditional lending due to their low income situation. And so we don't look for people with perfect credit. I know that always comes up right out at the beginning. They'll ask, can I qualify? I don't have good credit. We look for recent trends and improvements that they've tried to make with credit problems. And so anything that they can do over the last 2 to 3 years to show good signs toward making those steps, we look at that.
Hard pressed to find someone making that kind of wage and not have credit issues.
Right. Very true.
It just, I know how difficult it is too, making, a fairly good living, just, gosh, you think you're finally getting ahead and then you got to get 4 new tires. Those types of things, So how do you then choose the family? They have an application process?
It all starts with an application. We're very blessed to have a family selection committee made up of caring people who have a real heart for this. We go through the applications. We screen the applications to see right off. Sometimes, unfortunately, we can tell by their income level that they won't qualify. We feel like we're not doing any favors to a family if we try to get them in a house and then they can't meet their other obligations as well as pay the mortgage to Habitat. And I'll take this moment to say that the Habitat homes are not free. There is a mortgage, normally due 20 years. We've done 25-year mortgages here more recently because the price of the homes have gone up.
So that payment is back to Habitat?
That's right.
So you are, in essence, sort of the bank giving them a finance?
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Do you all follow the same economy as far as interest rates? I'm jumping into a world that I'm very clueless on how the interest rates work and as far as how economy goes up and down. All I do know is it's very high right now. How does that affect Habitat?
Interest rates do not affect Habitat. From the beginning, Millard Fuller, who founded Habitat along with his wife, said that there would be no interest charged on any Habitat home.
Wow.
And so we have no markup on the homes either. We sell them at cost and 0% interest. And as I said, normally 20-year mortgage, but the last couple we've done for 25 years just to make the monthly payment a little lower and more affordable. So we look at the family's overall need. That's one of the chief criteria, the living conditions that they're in, if they're living in substandard housing, if they have perhaps overcrowding, or if they have handicap needs that are not being met, or maybe live in an unsafe neighborhood. All of those constitute a need, or the factors that we look at in the need category. And then we look, of course, at their income, their credit ratings, and then, of course, their willingness to partner with us. We do require them to have at least 300 hours of sweat equity in the building of their own home.
Oh, interesting. Very cool. Okay, I was unaware of that. So that definitely gets them involved, doesn't it?
Well, it does, and it also makes them better homeowners because they see how the home is put together. And instead of being in a tenant situation, which they may have become accustomed to for many years, where they either get used to living in terrible conditions and not having timely repairs made, or they may live in conditions where they feel like the landlord's going to take care of it and they don't need to worry about it.
Yeah.
And so this acquaints them with all the electrical, plumbing, heating and air, all the nuts and bolts, if you will, of how the house is put together. And then we'll encourage them, of course, to recognize that they are the home owner or the home buyer and not a renter any longer.
Wow. It gives them such a sense of ownership, aside from the obvious ownership of the house, but
it does.
It puts their blood, sweat, and tears into it, doesn't it?
It does.
Makes it personal.
It does, and this whole project allows them to put down roots in the community, whereas they're perhaps accustomed to moving quite often, from maybe substandard conditions to another substandard condition, and not really having any connection with the community or with the schools, local government, and they generally take a greater interest in civic opportunities and activities.
Especially for the kids, jumping school to school to school.
Yes.
I have experience with that in my family. It's the kids need some stability.
Very important.
It's hard. They make a friend or two and then whoop, moving on.
Right.
And that's so hard for them.
Oh, it is. It is. We certainly feel very strongly about, that opportunity to put down roots and to feel like they found home and they found a community they can call home.
So let's talk about you a little more, Lee. We'll circle back. But as first off, where are you from?
I grew up in South Mississippi.
What, like Biloxi?
Biloxi.
Okay.
And I was in the military initially. My father was military, and so it was a natural transition for me to do that as well. So I did 20 years in the Air Force. I was a pilot, flew airplanes for the military, and then
God bless you, sir.
Oh, thank you. And then I got out and I flew corporate aviation, and then eventually I flew airlines as well.
Oh, okay.
And then,
what was the airline you flew for?
I was hired by Piedmont Airlines in North Carolina, and Piedmont was bought out by U.S. Air.
Gotcha.
Later, U.S. Air was bought out by America West, and they were bought out by Americans. So I retired as an American airlines pilot.
Man, flying is fascinating to me. The fact that, we got people sitting in a chair with a steering wheel, if you will, and taking this bus up into the sky. It is fascinating to me.
It is for people doing it too.
Yeah, and so safe. Like you obviously there's been some tragedies, but with the amount of flying going on with no problems is pretty amazing.
It is. It's like the NASA launches. We take so much for granted until something happens, and then everybody kind of takes more note. But it's very refined now. Aviation has come certainly a long way, and is very safe and effective way to travel.
So how'd you end up in North Mississippi?
Married into the county over 50 years ago, and have been here more or less ever since. Commuted out of this area for a while when I was...
it's changed a little, hasn't it?
It has for sure.
What's wild is, I have friends that early 50s that are from here, and they tell me how when they were growing up, Goodman was nothing.
That's right.
That is so hard for me to imagine and envision because of where it is now.
Right.
That just says a lot about the growth, the speed of the growth, isn't it?
Yes.
So you've seen it just blow up in front of your own eyes, haven't you?
We have for sure.
When was it really starting to be noticeable? Like, oh, okay, this county is a desired location.
Well, my wife thought it was all along. So
true. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, it's hard. I guess it seems fast, especially when you look backwards.
Right.
Wow, that happens so fast. But yeah, when you're living in it,
Mm-hmm.
I can see how, because I can say I've been in DeSoto area for 12 years.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, I've seen all kinds of growth, but it's hard for me to say. Yeah, I remember in 2015 is when it exploded.
Sure.
Now,
Yeah,
but,
I remember the gravel roads and slow, tedious travel to get from one end of the county to the other. The joke was you needed to rotate your tires and change your oil. It was almost like going on a road trip.
Because Goodman was dirt, right? The big sections of Goodman?
It was 2-lane. This was 50 years ago when I first came here. And if you got behind a big truck, you were maybe stuck behind that truck for quite a ways just because of the traffic flowing on a 2-lane road.
Wow. Repaving Goodman and making it what it is now must have been a massive undertaking.
It was, for sure. It was. We had a lot of community leaders that were actively involved in that.
And you look at 269, which is amazing. And I'm lucky that I'm jumping in as it's now finished, but that was a 20-year project, right?
Right.
So it takes a long time. As much as I feel like things are growing fast, it also, you have to plan way ahead.
Very true. Stay ahead.
So what is your role as president? What does it mean to be the president of our Hernando chapter for Habitat?
A lot of coordination with our board members, of course, with our volunteers. We have sponsors. We have just a lot of different opportunities that we need to be always trying to check into and avail ourselves of if we possibly can. We just finished this past Sunday on the 22nd of October, our big fundraiser. We have an annual home run for Habitat. This is the 15th annual. It was started in 2009. Donnie Chambliss and Jason Jabert are two good friends of Habitat that started it back in 2009. And so we had a huge crowd over at Silo Square this past Sunday afternoon. And we had 426 runners. And we had over 50 sponsors and a lot of support from the community. We had a fall fest, a kids dash, a 5K. So it's a big event. It's quite a spectacle to see. And of course, Silo Square is the perfect place to host it too.
Talk about growth.
Yes.
I mean, I would say that's the most glaring evidence of a growing county. To go to Silo Square.
It's
pretty remarkable what the last few years have brought there.
Right. They are right in the center of what's going on in DeSoto.
So, talk about support. Getting 50 businesses to sponsor anything is pretty remarkable. That's amazing.
A lot of them are return sponsors, and we certainly appreciate them. New sponsors come on board each year as well. And we're very blessed to have lots of interest in volunteerism.
So, while we're on this topic, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Talk about volunteers, and then let's talk about how sponsors and volunteers can get involved.
Sure. Well, our activities are posted on our website, which is, I think you mentioned earlier, DeSotoHabitat.org. And then, of course, my phone number is listed on our website. We have an email address there, too. So I'm always glad to hear from individuals, and they probably have our contact information for other board members as well from previous experience.
So they just email you. Hey, I'm interested in sponsoring. Right. I'm interested in volunteering.
Or calling, either one.
Okay. And donating. Do you take anonymous donations?
Right.
If they're coming at you, obviously, right?
Sure. Yeah. Right. We get a lot of calls to donate goods, materials. Some of those we can accept if we're actively building, but we don't have a storage facility and we don't have a store. Habitat affiliates sometimes will have what's called a re-store, R-E-store, where they will receive items, building materials or even furniture and other goods, and they will sell these and then put that into their building fund.
Okay.
We are a small all-volunteer affiliate, so we don't really have that luxury.
So money donations would be best.
Right. Yes.
Gotcha.
Yes. And donations of time, certainly, of course.
Yeah. So what does it look like for a volunteer? They email, I'm interested.
Mhm.
What's the process? You respond, and then how does it move forward from there?
Right. Our typical workday for construction starts at 8 o'clock on a Saturday. And we usually run 5, maybe 6 hours, and we do provide lunch on the work days. So we ask them if they can to show up at 8 or when it's convenient for them. And they're not obligated to stay the entire time either. If they need to come and put in 2 hours, we're appreciative of that.
Because everyone might have a job schedule
right.
on Saturdays, but
Mm-hmm.
they can come and go, flex it.
Mm-hmm.
Come if they can fit in 3 hours. I'm sure you appreciate that 3 hours.
We're glad to have them.
Yeah.
And so we'll work through the day. It depends on what phase of construction we're in. The most fun time, probably for most volunteers, I think they would say that would be on framing day, when we actually start out with a bare slab. And at the end of the day, we've got just about all of the walls, all of the exterior walls and most of the interior walls
Wow.
put up. It's like an old-fashioned barn raising. And it goes very quickly, and everyone works together. We usually have 30, maybe 40 volunteers on site, because it is a very heavy lifting day, too, but a very gratifying day. At the end of that, you see what is evidence of the beginning of a new home.
You see what's going to be.
Right.
So I would gather a good amount of volunteers are coming in because they want to help, but like myself, wouldn't have any idea on how to work and build a house.
Right.
Do you have, I don't know how to say this, but like, let's say upper level volunteers that are there to direct and mitigate and just kind of organize the team so everyone kind of has a certain role?
We do. We have team leaders who are qualified construction people, and we'll break up into groups. And all we ask of our volunteers is that they have a willing heart and willing hands.
Yeah.
And we'll take them through the rest.
Not afraid to get dirty.
That's right. Certainly not.
Yeah.
Because that's going to happen on a habitat build.
Team Couch of Birch Realty Group is a full-service team of realtors specializing in real estate sales. With over 900 transactions alone in the past 5 years, their experience is your best asset. Go to teamcouch.com or call 662-449-1700.
5M Services, your comfort specialists. We offer heating, ventilating, and air conditioning service. Call us for any of your HVAC needs. 662-560-7331. We are here for you 24/7. Typically, how many people are usually on a site at one given time?
To start out with, we have more, as I mentioned, maybe 30 or 40 for the early construction framing days. As we get into the later phases, we need fewer, so we probably scale down to 15 to 20, just because we're getting closed in now, if you will, as opposed to starting with an open, bare slab and then
you're like drywalling and
right,
just working on interior now,
right. Yeah. And so you don't want to get too many people that are stepping on each other, and safety concerns, too.
And even 15, that's a lot of people to manage, a lot of spinning plates and making sure, again, I put myself in there as an example of someone that has no idea what they're doing. Times that by 15, it's a lot of on-site, education.
Sure.
And that must be a lot to manage.
Well, it is, but we enjoy doing that. And they enjoy learning if they've had no experience at all. They walk away feeling, I think everyone, as we say, shows up thinking that they're going to help the family. And in the process, they're helping themselves too. You walk away, with a good feeling.
Mm-hmm.
And they're working right alongside the family too, the ones that are required to get the sweat equity hours.
Yeah.
So that's gratifying too, because at the end of the day, they're saying thank you, to everyone who came.
I would gather, now that you bring that back up, it should be, but I would gather it absolutely is for these people a humbling experience, because not only do they have, more attachment, they're seeing other people sweat too.
Mm-hmm.
That must be very humbling to see all these people helping them. Right?
It is. They're
Yeah.
very gratified, by
Right.
the whole experience. And that's what Habitat has been based on or built on all through the years is
Mm-hmm.
people helping people. And all through, the Christian experience, the love of Christ
Right.
being manifested in the actions of people coming who are complete strangers.
Mm-hmm. I was going to bring up that. So, I mean, from day one, it's been Christian-based?
Yes,
Okay.
always.
Awesome.
Non-denominational, ecumenical, so that
Mhm.
no, we don't proselytize, by agreement with Habitat International. But the evidence is there. We do have an opening devotional and a prayer. But beyond that, we don't try to browbeat anyone or.
Mhm. Just come as you are.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
And in the process, we always hope that maybe they'll walk away having lived out or seen someone else living out their faith. And so in the process, becoming stronger or more drawn to want that faith and experience for themselves.
I mean, I think that faith strengthens the team, right? I mean,
Absolutely.
kind of everyone just takes a breath together
Mm-hmm.
and kind of that moment of silence, aside from obviously the speaking to the Lord,
Mm-hmm.
but I could see it's just, it must feel good. It's like, all right, now let's go. Would you find that to be true?
Oh, absolutely. The team concept and the feeling that we've done something unique and special
Mm-hmm.
out of a compassionate heart strikes everyone. It gets to them.
So I see you have a family selection committee.
We do.
Yeah.
That's one of the most difficult jobs of any of our committee work. They've got to screen all the applications. And then the process is that if they look like they meet the basic qualifications, then the applicants are called in for an interview. And then we get to meet the applicants and hear personally about their need
Mm-hmm.
and also expand on their finances and whatnot.
What their story is,
Right.
what got them to where they are.
Yes.
Does having kids put you ahead of the line?
We certainly,
I don't want to make it sound like that,
right.
putting ahead of the line.
Right. Yeah.
But I would gather when you look at a single mom with a few kids, that is a little different, right?
We certainly take that into account.
Yeah.
That touches a nerve, I think, and touches our hearts in a way that perhaps it is unique that way.
Must be tough deciding too, because I mean, like you said, one a year.
Right.
I'm sure you get more than one application.
Oh,
a year,
we do,
don't you?
We do.
What do you feel like that comes in on average, as far as applicants?
The numbers.
Yeah.
We probably start out with 20 to 30 applicants, and then unfortunately we get down to just a few what we'll call semifinalists. We'll have home visits then for the semifinalist. The interview is the first step, and then the semifinalist, have the home visit. And then the very difficult decision has to be made by the committee, to actually make a choice.
Yeah, that's got to be rough.
And then they present that, their nomination, if you will, to the board, and then the board approves it. Right.
Yeah. How big is your board?
We have 12 members. We usually have somewhere between 12 and 15.
Yeah, and you have standard leadership, obviously vice president in front of me, but VP,
right.
secretary.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
So the family selection committee. So that would be part like a task force within the board.
Right.
What other task forces do you have?
We have the construction committee, which of course oversees the actual building operations. We have a fundraising committee, and they work to
get all those sponsors.
Home run for Habitat and donations and all the other work that we do there. We also have a family support committee. The family selection committee has that tough job of making the choices and recommendations, and then the family support committee takes over after the family is chosen, and they lead them through the construction phase as far as logging in their sweat equity hours, and also even after the home is finished and the house is mortgaged to them, the Family Support Committee stays in touch with all of the families. So right now we have 23 mortgages that we receive, and those are 23 families that the Family Support Committee remains in touch with. And the ones who have paid off their mortgage, we still consider them part of the Habitat family. And they still call us, especially, and we ask them to, if they have concerns with their house, if they have repair needs, to let us know, and we'll help them find someone who can take care of them.
Do y'all assist in any way as far as furnishing the house?
Each year, the furnishings show up. That's not part of our Habitat program, but we always have people who reach out to ask if they can do that.
Yeah.
And we try to coordinate with the family about what their needs are. And then a lot of items show up, prior to moving in.
Yeah.
And
this is, God's work.
It is
coming in. So you mentioned like the bigger chapters. I don't know what the proper term is. The other bigger ones have storage.
Mm-hmm.
So if you were to have storage, then if someone wanted to donate a couch, it's in storage.
Right.
And then you can use it, right? Is that
right? That's true. Or
that's the ideal situation if you have storage, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And then, like I said, the bigger affiliates have these stores, where they'll, there's one in Memphis up on Winchester that is operated by the Memphis affiliate.
So you donate it to the Restore, they sell it, and now you have funds.
That's correct.
Right. Sort of like a Goodwill.
Right.
Yeah, but specific to Habitat.
Right.
It's more direct.
Yes.
It's nice. You know exactly where that money is going.
Right.
What would it take for Hernando to have one or DeSoto County to have one?
It would take a big commitment of volunteers because you have to staff the store as well as stock it, and then post certain store hours and then maintain overhead, utilities, and all of that. So
even if they're all volunteers, you're going to have overhead.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But with being a nonprofit, are there any subsidies or any ways that you can get assistance with that?
Probably so. We just haven't really pushed to do that. We stay so busy, just trying to get through all the process of family selection and then getting land available and getting ready for the annual build.
Wow, there's so much stuff here to talk about. But I will say you're so knowledgeable about this as I'm looking through the list of stuff you gave me. You've hit all of it. I think it's great. This is here, 15 years, home run total net proceeds amount, 450,000.
Right.
What does that all mean?
We started the Home Run for Habitat back in 2009.
Oh, so that's that event.
Right.
Gotcha.
Right. And so that's our net amount each year. This year we'll probably gross around $70,000.
Just off that event. Is that what you mean?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we had a tremendous turnout and great support from the community, as I mentioned, and from sponsors.
Yeah.
And so we're very blessed to live in a community that has that kind of concern, and also our population here. There are a lot of small counties in other parts of the state and in other states too that might be very rural or agricultural primary counties, and so they just don't have the possibilities for support that we do here in DeSoto County, and so we're very blessed.
So this affiliate is only DeSoto?
That's correct.
Period. Okay. Are there other affiliates like in Tate County and no?
There are in other areas of Mississippi. There are 15 affiliates in Mississippi, 14 others besides the DeSoto County affiliate.
Interesting. Yeah, there's definitely a need.
There is, and at one time there were over 40 affiliates, but again, the economies of the various areas and the stringent requirements of Habitat have caused a lot of these to close up.
Materials have gone up.
Right.
I know you hear about that right now.
Oh, for sure.
The home builders out there,
Right.
a little tight.
Right.
What just popped in my head is all the tools needed. Are those stored? I mean, do you have the tools needed to build a house that are used each year, or are you every year leaning on volunteers to come in with tools?
We have some of the basic tools, but we do require, or ask that our volunteer construction leads, bring in theirs, and
they do what they can to bring in what's needed.
That's right.
Wow. That's awesome.
And a lot of them are doing this professionally anyway, so they just come on a Saturday and bring their equipment.
God love them for that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So Saturday's the only day?
Typically, that's the best day of the week, availability-wise. Young people are out of school that day. Working people are often free on weekends, so Saturday works out real well. We love to start in the fall. This fall, of course, is an exception because we're fresh out of land, having just finished this one in August. In the past, and for many years, we would start in September and finish in December, make it a 4-month build. But this year, we're going to be off that schedule.
That 300 hours of sweat equity, they're working.
Oh, they are.
They are involved, aren't they?
They are. Yeah. And we we wouldn't want to build the homes without them because for all the reasons that we talked about already. Yeah. But it just means so much, as I mentioned earlier, too, for the volunteers to work alongside the families. They really draw energy.
Yeah, it goes back and forth, doesn't it?
It does.
As the volunteer, you're like, I'm really getting to help this family out.
Yes.
This makes it very personal.
Very much so.
So process is secure land first, even if you don't have chosen a family.
That's right.
So now you're like, okay, we have land now. Now we can put the committee forward.
Right.
And start looking for a family.
Right. Our family selection committee is always receiving applications and screening them, but we can't get serious, if you will, about it until we actually have a place to build.
Yeah.
In 2012, we had 4 lots that in Horn Lake that we had acquired and built the last one out in 2012. We finished that house in December. We had no lots available.
Yeah.
By August of 2013, we had 6 lots. So God always provides. We just have learned to be patient, and opportunities will come our way. So we're waiting for that to develop. We have several prospects right now, so we're very optimistic. But presently, we don't have any of those in our inventory.
So when you have 16 lots secured, a lot of those lots are just hanging out.
They are.
So are you...
No, it was 6 that we had.
Oh, 6.
Right.
Still, I mean...
Right, well, still,
that's
we had
6 years worth of lots, right? So
we had to maintain those lots and keep them mowed and so forth.
And you're paying for them, right?
That's right.
So, wow, that's interesting.
Well, we paid for 4 of them, and 2 were donated.
That's amazing. Yeah, and how big are these lots? Like quarter acre?
What are you looking at? A little smaller than that, typically. We've had some that were that size, some of them a little bit smaller, some of them as small as maybe even 1/7 of an acre.
So are we looking at 1,000-square-foot houses?
Typically 1,200 to 1,300 square foot homes. We built as big. We built a 4-bedroom home that was about 1,500 square feet.
I would gather that because they had kids, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Never thought of that too. You get a chance to sort of design, like you said, if you have a mother with 4 kids, like, well, we can't give them a 2-bedroom.
Right.
Yeah. So you have to uniquely design to their needs, don't you?
We won't even start on the house until we know the family that's going to actually acquire it. And that way we build it according to their needs. We have built for handicap situations where all the floors are level, with walk-in sidewalks and porches. We have roll-in shower available.
Ramps.
Ramps, right. 3-foot doors, throughout the house. So
wider.
Right. To accommodate wheelchairs or motorized equipment and whatnot.
Man, that's so great.
We've also built for a hearing impaired family. And so we included, instead of a doorbell that would ring, there were lights installed on the inside so that they would be aware that someone was at the door.
Man, you guys just do such good work.
Well, thank you. It's our pleasure. We feel called by God to do this, and we just hope to continue for many years down the road.
Yeah, so land.
Yes.
Anyone listening that can help,
please.
We need land.
Right.
Donations, volunteers, sponsors, yes, of course.
All of those.
Always, but we need some land before we can get anyone else in a new house. So
yes, we do.
So yeah, let's put the Real Hernando audience army out there, please.
Yes.
So again, the website is, I got too many papers here.
DeSoto Habitat.org.
.org. And Lee Ashcraft, thanks for doing this. It's been a pleasure. I hope part of the main reason for this podcast is to help educate and spread awareness. And I hope someone learned something new today. I know I do. With every interview I do in here, I learn something new. Everyone's heard of Habitat for Humanity. It's been around forever. You just know about it. But do you know about it?
Right.
For real.
Right.
And I think your wealth of knowledge on this really represented well. I can see why you're the president.
Well, thank you for your
How long
time.
have you been the president?
Off and on.
They keep pulling you back in, don't they?
They do. We trade out jobs, but I've been doing this for since 2001. Not as president.
Yeah, but just part of
Habitat.
Well,
I volunteered for the first time in 2000 and then was asked to be on the board in 2001.
Wow. That's awesome. And it must be awe-inspiring to see the growth of it. And every time you are done with a house and you see a new family, in a good living situation, it must be so satisfying.
Very rewarding.
Yeah, very rewarding. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, before we say goodbye, Lee, I'm going to thank the audience here for hanging out. Appreciate you being here. If you want to go and follow this podcast, go to therealhernando.com. We also asked if you want to help support people like Lee and organizations like Habitat for Humanity, share. Sharing is caring. We are on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Apple, Spotify. We're plastered everywhere. Go to that website. You can find all these platforms and then share this episode and put it on your Facebook. It's amazing how quickly that rapid fire, your reach, and really helps our guests and quite honestly helps this podcast. And the brighter the spotlight I can give out, the better for the organizations. It's a full circle deal. So we would have loved that support. I want to thank our sponsors again. We couldn't do this without you. Wouldn't be able to have this studio without you. So I'm grateful for all of you on that. If you want to learn how to sponsor this podcast or advertise on it, first sponsor Habitat for Humanity, and then talk about, you can come to me if you want to learn more about your advertising opportunities. There's a form link in the description area. Feel free to click that and fill out the information and I'll follow up with you. So again, Lee Ashcraft, president of the Hernando affiliate of Habitat of Humanity. It's easy for me to say, isn't it?
For humanity.
For humanity. Okay. Botching all of us. But we keep it real here. We keep it organic, Lee. We have fun in this place. We don't take it too seriously. A lot of people would edit that out. I don't. I own my mistakes, sir. No, but again, thank you so much. I'm looking forward to spreading this out for you and bringing you to the masses as best we can. So.
Been a pleasure being with you today, Derek.
All right. Thank you. And to those watching and listening, thank you and have a great day.